You know, Sean, when I was a memory boy, we didn't have tap tempo.
I'm Sean Daniel.
I'm Justin Mitchell.
And today we're talking about the Electro Harmonix Memory Boy. Electro Harmonix, possibly my favorite.
I love them.
I love those guys.
Yeah.
So good. So many great pedals.
Do you know, I know that we did that video of my beautiful pedal board, and it's state now, but there was a point, I'm sure I could even find a picture.
Yeah.
It was only Electro Harmonix because they're affordable and they're good, man. They are great.
And creative people behind making it.
Oh, yeah.
Huge Electro
Yeah.
Harmonix fan.
And honestly, so I'm sure everybody's heard of GAS, right? Gear acquisition syndrome, where you just have the itch to buy stuff. I honestly hate Electro Harmonix a little bit because they come out with these pedals that are like one of a kind. Like they make like the Ravish sitar. When that came out, it makes your guitar sound like a sitar. And you're like, I don't need it.
The one thing, what is it? The random tone generator.
Oh,
you seen that one?
Yeah.
It doesn't even have like a input. It's just output and just.
It's awesome though.
Yeah. Anyway.
Innovative.
Yeah. We're talking about the Memory Boy, but this isn't just about the Memory Boy.
Right.
This is about delay pedals in general.
Yeah, I would love to take the opportunity to give you a better idea of whether it's this delay pedal or whatever you're going to look at or want to purchase, you know, how they work and what you're listening for.
There's a lot of different, features that different delay pedals have.
Right.
Some of them are loopers. Some of them have deluxe where you can like split the delay times,
Right.
feedback, rate. What does all this stuff mean?
That's right. So I'm going to start off. Look, we have two switches here down here. These are true bypass switches, which means they're super loud when you push them down. Right?
Yep.
So I'm going to give Sean's going to give us a little bit of his clean tone. That's all it is. So what this pedal is doing is this. Right? So this knob right here is the tap tempo. When you tap this, it's going to change the tempo to which the delays will respond.
Exactly. The best way to find out what a delay pedal is doing is choke one note and stop it so it doesn't sustain. If you sustain it, you can kind of get confused as to where things are coming in and out. But if you so it's bump, 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 bump. That space is how long it is, and it's blinking. That LED is blinking at the space.
You know, until you get really good at it, I recommend you hit the tap tempo 4 times because a lot of these are advanced enough to split the difference.
Exactly.
You know?
Right?
So if you hit it 4 times, it'll be pretty close to in time with whatever it is that you're wanting to play. So I think our tempo today is going to be. Seems good. It's pretty. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
By the way, this is our
blues lick swear jar.
Lick swear jar. Every time I play a blues lick, I have to put money in the swear jar.
That's right. Okay, so
do that again. But also, a note while we're here.
Right.
I'm hitting a note. It's repeating like one time.
Right.
So I think the terminology of like feedback and stuff is important.
That's right.
To understand. So we'll get to all the knobs and stuff too, but that's like a really quick thing.
Yeah, that's great.
So please go ahead.
So, we'll start with the feedback knob. What it does is when it's down, it is 1 repeat.
Just one, and it's gone.
Right.
I mean, maybe if you're doing kind of like, if it's busier, it's kind of filling in spaces in between what you're doing.
Right.
If you're just kind of out in space, it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Exactly.
Whatever.
So, when the knob, if we look at this as a clock, noon is right here where my finger is. When the knob is at about, I'd say 9, you usually get 2, sometimes 3.
Sure.
Right.
You can hear it decaying.
Right. Obviously, there are more repeats, but you get like 2 or 3 solid ones. And this is really good for like. I'm gonna make an exception to the rule. This is really good for like running the pentatonic down like an octave. You know, from starting high. You know, that gives you a good idea, that cascading. You know,
it's like a wave of an extra note.
Exactly.
It feels so good to not have to pay to do that.
I know. And you make that's enough. And then so you're making harmonies with your delays, right? So the feedback knob when it is at noon, that's when you get like some cool warbly modulation off of
So just one note. Seems like it might be going on for a long time.
Right.
So if you kind of do something busier, like. If I'm playing in time with the tap tempo, it's kind of doubling and it's making a smoother type thing.
And you don't have to. You could play out of time with the tap tempo and get weird with it. I'm okay.
Now, one thing. So how about I'll play that and you move the knob up. Huh?
The feedback knob?
Yeah, because this is something that maybe you've heard.
Right.
Like, why is it doing this?
Once this knob reaches, you'll just have to hear. So. And then Sean's going to stop playing.
Feedback on an amp, because you're creating a feedback loop. It's one signal coming into each other more and more. You can affect it so it infinitely repeats. Like, there hasn't been signal going into that pedal in a while, but you can still catch the end of it and then just kind of mess around with it. A lot of people use delay pedals to reamp stuff and then just use it as an effect.
That's right. And see, so it has an expression pedal input, so you can actually use a foot expression pedal to control this. Right? So that you can back off whenever it gets bad. The cool thing about the Memory Boy here, the Deluxe Memory Boy, is it has an effects loop. And what that means is that you can put other effects pedals in between here, right? If you put a limiter, or sometimes certain compressors like my Lo-Fi Junkie, in the effects loop, the feedback will never overload your amp. Exactly. And you can get crazy sounds out of it.
Right? Because it can be dangerous. So that thing where if you have the feedback up and you do it, it just blows up. It's like, oh, somebody shut it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
So
that's why an effects loop is important. I think that an effects loop specifically is something that maybe people who are just getting into pedals don't understand.
Yeah, and don't need to. I mean, a lot of people will buy this pedal, never use the effects loop, and never use the expression pedal, and they will still get amazing sounds.
Cool.
Yeah, it's totally fine. So the pedal, the next knob I'm going to go over is the rate. And the rate, I'm sorry, the delay. I always say rate. It's the delay. The delay, when the tap tempo is activated here, the delay knob does nothing. And when the delay knob is used to set the tempo, these divides do nothing, right? So I'll just let you hear it. It's a lot easier to understand, So this would be the maximum delay time. And actually, I'll just do one repeat so you can hear it. Right? That's it. That's the maximum delay time. This is half of that delay time. And then this is pretty quick.
You almost can't even
hear it.
Exactly.
Right.
I think that when go back to the lowest one. So I think when it does make a difference is like if you're playing like, because you're kind of playing something a little faster, and there is a subtle kind of additive thing going on. But
and so one of the other cool things that you can use with the expression pedal or just with your hand is he can play a chord. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
You can tell I've done that before, right?
Yeah, you're
dial
like,
that directly in.
There you go.
Yeah. So
what just happened there? What did you just do?
So
I played a chord.
By changing the time of the delay, you're creating a pitch bending effect because the notes have to speed up or slow down in order to reach the proper tempo. And when you settle in on a tempo, it then bends back into
So that's why you hear the chord, you hear a pitch, and then it settles.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
It's very cool.
Can you do that with the expression?
Yes, you can. Yeah. See, anything here, rate, depth, feedback, delay, can be controlled. See when the light's on, that's what can be controlled.
Cool.
So, okay, so we're going to turn this all the way down. We're going to use the tap tempo to get this in. We're going to turn the feedback here so we get about 2 repeats. So by now we like pretty much understand a delay pedal, right? This gain is good for if you're losing signal, you know, or if you want like a little more drive in your chain, because delays usually come last in the signal chain, right? So we have, go ahead. Right? And you can get a real clean. Honestly, I almost always keep it at noon. I mean, like sometimes I dial it down to clean it up, but it's almost always at noon.
Yeah,
then blend is how much delay with sound we're getting. When it's there is no delay, right? When it's at noon, the wet signal delay pedal, and the dry signals in the guitar are mixed. When it's up all the way,
there's no original signal.
You're only hearing the original signal.
See, I hit some, and then it comes later.
That's right.
Okay.
And where that gets really interesting is, you can turn the feedback up, do weird stuff with it. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Anyhow, so we're gonna set back in our tap tempo. So the two knobs here work directly together, right? So the rate controls the modulation, which is how fast these notes are going to be modulated. There's a square wave turned to clockwise.
Okay.
There's a triangle wave turned counterclockwise.
What's the difference between a square and a triangle wave?
So if you visualize a triangle wave going like this, you can kind of imagine that's what the modulation wavelength is looking like. It kind of goes up to a peak and comes back down. Right.
And back, yeah.
And if you think of a square, it's like here, drop, here, up, here, drop, here, up. So you're going to hear what that sounds like. A couple of the things we learned real quick. Sean, when I set this, he's just going to strum a chord. So we're going to turn the blend all the way here, and the feedback here, and we're going to turn the modulation kind of weird, and then just strum a chord. You can get space age with this.
Sure.
You can do some weird stuff. Is it musical? Not for me to decide.
No, that's
not for me to decide.
Who are we?
Right. So that is basically how a delay pedal works. There is one more thing that I want to show that is unique to this pedal, and a lot of people don't know this. You can use this, it can do what's called sequencing. These lights down here are the tap divide. So whenever no lights are on, it is a quarter note, right? When it's here, it's a dotted eighth note, right? Here are 3/4 notes. Right? 3/8 notes, right? This is a 16th note. So the rate right now is controlling the modulation, right? But if I hold this button down for 2 seconds, it's now going to switch between these tap divides. And we can control that with the rate.
There you go. I feel like I'm at a trance party right now.
Yeah, exactly. So, there you go. So, I mean, you can use delay like we were in the beginning, where it's just like kind of cool,
so
fills
like,
the space, Or you can use it as a filter, right?
Sure.
We turn the blend all the way up, and now it becomes, or you can use it as just a weird noise generator. And that's not just unique to this delay. Any delay pedal, you can definitely do some interesting things.
It's just kind of the way it works, how it's feeding signals back into each other. Once you kind of manipulate things during that loop, anything's game. Right. Anything could happen. Huh?
So
to this day, if I'm screwing with a delay pedal, I don't know what's going to happen all the time.
Yeah. That, and I, especially with the sequencing, like sometimes that's still hard for me to dial in something musical, because it's almost unpredictable, even though it's predictable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's the Deluxe Memory Boy. I have had this pedal, I think, for 6 or 7 years, and I will be totally honest. This is the only pedal I have not bought and sold. Is the only one that's been a mainstay.
Yeah, he went through a dark time where things were just coming in and out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh.
His pedal board was like a Motel 6.
So
like,
bad. It was so
rented
bad.
Room.
I almost bought a like handmade arpeggiator
The
pedal.
German one?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember talking about that.
It was like $600 and Sean was like, this is where you're at now.
I had to like call his mom and we had to like meet him. Yeah.
But
I told him I was taking him to Disney World.
Yeah, exactly.
It was rough, man.
But
I'm glad you got through, dude.
Hey, man, I got through it, and here we are with the Electro Harmonix
nice
Deluxe Memory Boy.
Memory Boy. Now there are a bunch of actually iterations of this pedal.
That's right.
In Electro Harmonix.
Yeah, they have smaller memory. They have 3 Memory Boys, I believe.
Sure.
And then they have the Memory Man, which basically just has double the delay time. I think this is 550 milliseconds, whereas the Memory Man is 1100 or 1100.
So there you go. Any questions about delay, hit us up.
Yeah, please. If you have any questions about this pedal or delay in general, leave it in the comments. A couple weeks go by, we make sure we got all the questions.
Yeah, we'll try to get to as many as we can, but that's what we do. So
yeah, we'll do a second video making sure we clear some stuff up.